Hi guys, so I'm here today for another 3 book recommendations video. This is a series in which I take 3 books that have similar themes, or if they're fiction books, perhaps similar plot points or characters. There's just, significant overlap in the 3 books that I think means if you enjoy one, you'll enjoy the rest, or if you're interested in that theme, then you will enjoy all 3. So without further ado, the 3 books in this video are all non-fiction books that address the way in which gender and the confines of gender expectations affect our everyday lives, affect how we grow up, who we are as people, and our expectations of those around us. This is of course based on the fact that gender is a social construct. It is something that we use to, separate people into 2 categories and define the way that they should behave in society, from the smallest to the biggest things. And all 3 of these books explore gender in their own way. So without further ado, let's get into the books. First up, and probably an excellent place to start, particularly if you're new to gender theory, is Girls Will Be Girls by Amir O'Toole. Amir O'Toole is an academic. She has a PhD in gender studies. However, this book is incredibly accessible. It in part explores different theories about gender and different scholars who wrote on the topic of gender over the years. It explores the idea of gender as performative, which means it is a role that we perform in our everyday lives because we have been told that this is how we should behave. But it also mixes in Amir O'Toole's personal experiences, her experiences with feminism and gender theory, how she came to explore these topics, how she started off her life thinking, I'm not a feminist, but gradually becoming aware of the subtle nuances of how gender affects our everyday lives, and her study and little experiments that she's conducted throughout her own life with things like body hair and the way she's been treated in the media for, say, not shaving her armpits. It is such a wonderful mixture of things. It will make you angry, it will make you aware, it will also make you laugh and just make you think. It is such a wonderful book. I think it's both an accessible introduction to a topic like this, as well as being just a fun, interesting, personal account of this topic for people who are perhaps already vastly familiar with the concept of gender performance. And it's such a positive book. I found it really, really inspiring and positive, and a wonderful reading experience. I would also highly recommend the audiobook. Next up is The Descent of Man by Grayson Perry. This is an incredibly short book, so you have no reason really not to read it. Grayson Perry is a famous British artist, and in this book he explores the effect of masculinity on society. He explores the effects of masculinity on young men, old men, men throughout their life, but also how it impacts society as a whole and contributes to the oppression of women. And although it's a very short introduction to this topic, I think it's a really important book, and it really gets the discussion going on the way in which society raises men to behave and how it is negative for everybody. It is a negative thing for everybody in society to stifle and squish men into these boxes and tell them how they should behave, and that they shouldn't express emotion, and that they should express themselves aggressively over being more sensitive. Of course, it's a given that not all men go around beating one another up, but there's certainly certain expectations that we place on men through this term masculinity, and perhaps we need a new way of defining masculinity, or to get rid of the word altogether, that there is not the proper manly way to behave, and that we shouldn't put that pressure on boys and men. Like with Amir O'Toole's book, this book draws on Grayson Perry's personal anecdotes, his experience in life, and also his experience talking to young men as a part of a documentary series he did on the same topic. He himself has very much tried to reject these gender confines, but he also explores the ways how subconsciously it has been a difficult hurdle for him. And yeah, it's a really interesting book, and one definitely worth giving a shot. Thirdly is a book with the perfect title for this video, and that is Gender Games by Juno Dawson. Juno Dawson is a fiction author as well as a non-fiction author, and she writes predominantly young adult fiction, which used to be published under the name James Dawson, as she is a trans woman who used to go by the name James. So this book explores a multitude of topics. It is Juno's personal experience of her transition, of her coming to terms with who she is, exploring her sexuality and then her gender identity as life went on, and then deciding to come out as a trans woman and going through that change in what is quite a public platform, as she was already a published author recognised in that world. But it also explores more generally the way in which we categorise people according to gender, the gender expectations we place upon people and the expectations that we have on them based on our perception of their gender, and how this negatively impacts everybody's life. It addresses the way that we really need to be talking about gender and sex in a very different way from birth to our children and the people around us if we're ever going to make any difference to society and the stigmas that we have attached to people and the pressure that we put upon people. We need to change as a society, not just as individuals. All of these books are amazing books on gender and the way gender impacts our lives and the way we behave, the way we expect others to behave, and the way that we are perhaps boxed in. All three of these books have so much going on in them. I can't talk about it all here, and that's why you should go and read them. They're all from different perspectives, all from incredibly intelligent authors who explore their topic with great care and thought, and they're very thought-provoking books that I would just recommend you all read. If you've read any other books that address these topics, I would love to hear about them, so please do let me know what they are in the comments down below. And if you just want to chat more about the books I've mentioned in this video, I would of course love to hear your thoughts, and we can get some discussion going in the comments down below. But until next time guys, happy reading, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye!